Have you ever felt kind of lost? Like you know you're supposed to be passionate about something, but you just can't figure out what? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into a really simple but powerful idea that finding your way isn't about adding something new, but about uncovering what's already inside of you. This idea, inspired by the incredible sculptor Michelangelo, is going to be our guide today. You know, it's so easy to think that to get better, we need to add more skills, more habits, more stuff. But what if the real secret is to start removing things? To chisel away all the junk that's holding us back and reveal the masterpiece you already are. Okay, think about it. We all look in a mirror every single day, right? It's just automatic. But what if I told you we all have a second mirror? One that's way more important and one we pretty much ignore all the time. Let's break that down. So check this out. With the physical mirror, we're experts. We see dark circles and we immediately know, okay, I gotta get more sleep. We spot a pimple and think, maybe I should lay off the junk food. See the problem, find the cause, take action. It's simple logic. The real question is, why is it so hard to apply that exact same logic to our inner mirror? Yep, just like a pimple is a signal from your body, these traits, they're signals from your inner self. Think of that stubborn streak or that habit of procrastinating. They're like little pimples on your personality. And you can only really see them when you actually take a second to look in that inner mirror and pay attention to how you act and how it affects people. So, what happens if we just don't look? If we ignore that inner mirror and just keep going? Well, that's when we start to feel disconnected. We can even start to feel like a stranger in our own life.
Oh man, this question, it feels so familiar, doesn't it? Especially when you're in your teens or your 20s or even your 30s. It feels like this giant, impossible puzzle you have to solve before you can really start living.
But here's the big idea. What if you don't actually lack passion? What if the real problem is just self-neglect? It's a sign that you've just stopped listening to yourself. You've been ignoring the most important data you have, your own feelings and your own experiences. The author who inspired this whole explainer shared this really honest story. A friend of his was super excited, telling him about something new they'd learned. But because it was a topic he was an expert on, he just jumped in. He totally took over the conversation, basically turning their excitement into his own personal lecture. And then he saw the look on his friend's face, that disappointment. And right there, that was a signal. That tactless moment was a piece of data from his inner mirror. And to just ignore it would have been a huge waste. Okay, so the good news. Reconnecting with yourself isn't some huge, complicated thing. In fact, it's surprisingly simple. Let's walk through a really practical exercise you can do to get started. All right, here we go. 4 simple steps. First, find a space that's genuinely quiet. Second, and this is probably the most important part, put your devices away. Your phone, your laptop, your watch, all of it. Third, just set aside some time. It could even be just 1 hour. The whole point is to create a space where you can actually hear yourself think. And finally, you ask yourself one very simple, very powerful question. That's it. That's the question. Recently, what is the one thing that made me happiest? Don't try to force an answer. Just sit with it. Let your mind drift back over the past few days, the past few weeks. What were those little moments that gave you a real spark of joy? Trust me, the clues to what you're passionate about are hiding in those memories. And look, this isn't just some nice theory. It works in the real world. I want to tell you a story about a friend whose entire life changed, not because he chose to reflect, but because he was forced to. So this friend was just always complaining, felt stuck, hated his job, had no idea what he wanted to do. Then he got injured and couldn't play his favorite sport. And it was only in that forced downtime, when the thing he loved was taken away from him, that he was forced to just sit there and think. And he realized just how much he missed it, how much it was a part of him. That forced pause acted like an inner mirror, and it showed him his passion had been right in front of his face the entire time. Now, he hasn't become a superstar or anything, yet, but that's not the point. The real victory was finding his direction. For anyone out there feeling lost, just finding the road you're meant to be on, that is a monumental success. It gives you a sense of purpose. It turns aimless wandering into an actual journey. The thing is, you don't have to wait for some big crisis to have this kind of realization. Your path, your passions, a better understanding of who you are, it's all there, waiting for you. All it takes is a little bit of quiet and the courage to actually look in the mirror. So, what do you think you'll see?